What's up guys, Leo Gabriel from revitalizeyourself.com, back here with another video. Today we're going to talk about TRX exercises and why I don't like to use them for strength training. The main reason I don't like using TRX for strength training is because it's really difficult to track your progress. When you're doing strength training, when you're trying to create muscle, you do it through progressive overload. To create progressive overload, you got to consistently add more weight to the bar, increasingly use heavier dumbbells, or in the case of calisthenics, find more difficult variation of certain simple exercises that make it more difficult, that put more stress on the muscles, making them adapt to a harder and stronger stimulus. With TRX though, tracking those numbers gets a little bit more difficult. With weight training, I'm marking how much I can bench, how much I can squat. And to get progress, I'm constantly adding weight to the bar, increasing my rep count. Maybe one time I'll do 3 sets of 65 pounds if I'm just getting started with the bench press. And then next time I'll do 3 sets of 75 pounds, gradually seeing the weight on the bar go up and up, creating that progressive overload. With something like calisthenics, I might start with 3 sets of 10 push-ups and do more difficult variations of push-ups, such as diamond push-ups or incline push-ups or handstand push-ups, anything like that. And that's how we create progressive overload. But with TRXs, it's a little bit more difficult. Here's why. Well, with strength training, we up the weight, and with calisthenics, we find a more difficult variation of the exercise. With TRX, we make an exercise more difficult by simply changing the angle that we're performing the exercise at. So if let's say I'm doing a compound movement like a row, it's much easier to do it standing up at a relatively vertical position relative to the ground versus more horizontal. When I go more horizontal, the exercise becomes more difficult. So I create progressive overload by gradually increasing the angle between me and the ground, or me and the suspension trainer. So that's why I typically do not like to use these TRXs as a way of tracking progress. Because to track progress, you gotta track which angle you were at. Chances are you're probably doing this exercise at a gym rather than at home, so it's even harder to track. It's difficult to keep track of how long the suspension trainer is. It's difficult to keep track of what angle you were at, how high up on the column or the wall it's been mounted at. All those things are constantly subject to change. So, if you are going to use suspension training to train some of those compound movements, whether it's the push movements, whether it's the pull movements, I recommend you do this. Take a piece of Scotch tape and a highlighter or marker and mark it up. Place that piece of Scotch tape on the ground, or really any other marker if you're doing it on carpet. It's going to be much harder if you do it on carpet because you're going to slide more. Just heads up. So if you are doing that exercise, mark where you put your feet the first time. And to make the exercise more difficult, our feet are going to get closer and closer inward. As our feet get closer and closer inward, our body becomes more and more parallel to the ground, making the exercise more and more difficult. That's how we track our progress. That said, I don't really see this as a good long-term solution to building strength because it's a little bit more of a headache than simply tracking how much weight we're pushing or pulling or squatting or anything like that. That said, I do use TRX for other reasons. I use it mainly to train the smaller muscles, to perform the correct exercises, specifically with the abs. Ab pikes, ab tucks. Holding a plank in a TRX position gives us a more difficult variation of a plank, which helps us create progressive overload with those smaller muscles. Another exercise I love, the Y&T, working those back scapular muscles, the upper back muscles that are often so undertrained. We include that workout actually in our Revitalized Total Health 1 program. A fantastic exercise, that and many other exercises that you can perform using a TRX. Another reason I don't like TRX is simply because you can get really good alternatives for a fraction of the price. This suspension trainer I actually got from Amazon for probably about $25 compared to a TRX, which will run you up to $150, $200. And oftentimes these suspension trainers will be included with the bar. I've had this for a while, so I don't really have a link that I could send you, but simply just Google search, find a good pull-up bar. Many of them will come with a TRX or suspension training attachment. You can buy them together, separately. There's tons of options available. You don't have to go with the brand name. You're paying money for brand names. You're paying money for advertising. A suspension trainer of any kind, of any knockoff brand, will get the job done just as well. So if you're looking to save money, if you're looking to make your results easier to track, I would stick away from TRX exercises unless you're doing some core work, some small muscle work, or anything as a corrective exercise. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.